So the Helbrute data slate has actually been out for a while. I think a couple months now. I've actually owned the Helbrute since Dark Vengeance came out, but I never used it. Started using that data slate they do pretty good. And I'm actually gonna do a real short review of the Helbrute's data slate. I think there's a fair number already out there, but give you my opinion on it. Unlike the Helbrute itself, which as a lone unit, it's got some pretty serious limitations. You just don't see it used all that often. The data slate makes these guys much, much better. So if you start, there are three options, basically three formations. The first one is the Mayhem pack, and I think of the three, this has the biggest limitations. It's always three Helbrutes, and they always deep strike. So that's got some utility because it gets it into your opponent's deployment zone, or because it's a formation but not a squadron, all three of those Helbrutes deep strike at the same time, but they don't have to be next to each other. So you could put some backfield, put some in your deployment zone, maybe holding an objective or something, but it gives you an option. It gives all of the Helbrutes in that group it will not die, which is pretty nice because it makes them survive a little bit longer. But I think it's one real limitation is that no matter what happens, every Helbrute takes a crazed test, and every Helbrute takes the same test. So if you have three Helbrutes, they all deep strike, and then they immediately take a crazed test. And that means that 1/3 of the time they're not necessarily shooting at a valuable target, and there's a good chance they're not moving, or it does make them somewhat of a limitation. So I think of the three formations, this was my least favorite. The Hell Cult, this one's actually pretty cool, and it has double utility. So the Hell Cult, you take a Helbrute and then two squads of cultists, and you can upgrade the cultists however you want, so you could make them maximum size squads, which could be pretty useful. And when you do this, if you take the formation, the Helbrute, he's not connected to the squads, but as long as he is partially obscured from a line of sight, the squads of cultists give him a 3+ cover save, which, if you have night fighting on round 1, is going to give you a 2+ cover save, which is pretty good. The downside is a cultist dies every time he takes a save. I'm not really sure that's a downside, but a cultist dies. The Helbrute himself is not connected to the cultist squad, so they can move around. He himself always has rage, so he gets the bonus attacks when charging. The downside is he just randomly punches a friendly model every time he rolls a unmodified 1 in close combat, as long as there's a model within 6 inches. So he does have the chance of killing some cultists or even something else, but he can't punch himself. Still, he's pretty good. The real benefit, which makes this formation useful, on top of the cover save, is that this Helbrute makes both squads of cultists fearless, and if the Helbrute himself dies, they gain Zealot, which means they have Hatred and Fearless, which is pretty good. If you have a big squad of cultists with Hatred, that's a fearless squad of Hatred cultists. It's pretty powerful. It does a lot of attacks. Can certainly bog down almost anything for a large portion of the game. So I liked the Hell Cult. I think it's a pretty good upgrade. And then the last one is my favorite so far, is the Hellfist Murder Pack. And it's a squadron. So it's a formation which makes you take 5 Helbrutes in a squadron, so they are all together. It upgrades one of them to a character and gives them a 5+ invulnerable save. Because he becomes a character, based on the rules now, he could be your warlord. And you would be battle forged. You wouldn't be using formations. You're okay there. So you could have a Helbrute warlord in a formation with with 4 other guys, so a total of 5, which I thought it was pretty cool. The other Helbrutes get a Lookout Sir when they're within 6 inches of the champion. They also have a little modification to the Crazed table, which I personally thought was a great upgrade, and that is, as long as the champion is alive, you, the owner of the Helbrutes, get to choose what the Crazed result is, which makes this pack very versatile and actually improves its likelihood of either shooting something down if you get to choose to shoot twice and it's the target you want to hit, or if you want Rage with Fleet, you can choose that. So it's a pretty good formation. Finally, if you do lose your champion, everyone gets Rage. Beyond that, you can take all the standard upgrades on the Helbrute, so there's no changes to the model itself in this. But I mean, I would say all of these, for basically 500 points, you get a formation that is a squadron, where you choose the craze result for minimum of 200 points, you get the cultists, and for 300 points, you get the other one. I personally have found that the murder pack, the one with 5 Helbrutes, is really hard to deal with for most opponents because it's just a lot of armor value 12 walkers with at minimum power fists and multi-meltas, but you can upgrade them however you want with all the other upgrades. And so it's been a pretty fun, significantly powerful formation to run.